Do you think that they're relevant to our society today?
I do, actually, because I think even though they're boring and not necessarily relevant anymore, the fact that they were relevant means that it's worth looking at them and understanding like how they've shaped where we are now societally.
I mean, I think that especially I think John Muir is really relevant because a lot of what we experience today of preserved land and reforestation and things like that were the result of his work. So I think he's very relevant. And so are other people, but you know, that's just an example.
Well, I've concluded that nature writing is very important to our society because it brings us back in touch with something that in our daily lives we've lost a part of it. And because of that, I think it's very relevant to both our society and to our young people today.
Yeah, I think those authors are really relevant because we take for granted that you know, around here living in Woodstock that we appreciate nature, but back then when those guys were writing, people didn't know anything about the science of nature, what are we looking at, and also just the appreciation. You know, back then people were just like, you know, nature was something that served man as far as logging or you know, dams and whatnot. So those folks really helped and bring a romanticism to the area as well. I think influence a lot of writers today that talk about, you know, kind of nature writing. I see is kind of like Into the Wild is kind of like that, and I think that book's pretty inspirational for a lot of young people.
I think in general, nature writing is pretty boring and irrelevant because it only has one focus, and that focus is too narrow for it to be interesting.
I think they are. I think they're probably more important than ever. The population has shifted from being rural to urban. I forget what year it was, but it wasn't all that long ago, and so more people are now living in cities than they are out in rural areas, which kind of shifts the mindset of, you know, what's important to people.
I agree that these old nature writers do have relevance. Like Muir influenced the creating of national parks, and Whitman, he influenced the Dracula. The writer of Dracula based his character on him, and yeah, stuff like that. And yeah, I just think that they show a different perspective because they're like, naturing is a whole different gear, and it's just completely different from any other writing, and the style is different.